CBS Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. It may be cleaner air for residents in West Fairbanks after a court ruling.
2 outdoor wood boilers near Wood River School have been ordered shut down. People who live in the area of the boilers had complained about the smoke, and the Department of Environmental Conservation took the issue to court. A judge granted an injunction forcing owners Andrew and Gloria Strawn not to use them until the case is settled. The boilers have been there since 2008. Now, an attorney for the Strawns is denying most of the allegations made against them.
$85 billion in across-the-board federal cuts called sequestration are scheduled to begin on March 1st. With the federal government being responsible for 1/3 of Alaska's economy, it could mean a major hit for the state. There have been no specific details about where or how the cuts will take place. Frustrated with so little information, Senator Lisa Murkowski urged her fellow Appropriations Committee members to schedule a full hearing, and today that hearing took place. Officials from the Office of Management and Budget, Department of Education, HUD, and Homeland Security all testified.
We don't like sequestration. It's blunt, it's ugly, and it just doesn't work. But it does force us to deal with budget cuts. It forces us to deal with a $16.4 trillion debt. So whether we are dealing with sequestration or whether we're just dealing with budget cuts, it does force a prioritization.
After more than a decade behind bars, former Tanana Valley Clinic doctor Stephen Grandstaff is due to be released from prison in the coming months. In part 1 of an exclusive 3-part interview, here's more now from News Center 11's Daryl Lewis.
Thanks and good evening. It's a profession built around the utmost trust. And at any given time, all of us will utilize the service. So it goes without saying that when one so trusted abuses it, it shakes everyone to their core being. Here in Fairbanks, such was the case during the late 1990s with State of Alaska versus former Tanana Valley Clinic doctor Stephen Grandstaff, a case that still has residual effects to this day. He was a trusted doctor, ironically serving a great many, including this reporter at the time. But in 1998, after receiving a phone call from investigators with the Fairbanks Police Department and reviewing a near 100-page criminal complaint that detailed over 100 counts, it became obvious to me this was no ordinary case. Now, this story cannot continue without a trip back to the past, and Grandstaff's behavior back in the late 1990s became very clear, according to state attorneys. Target already drug-addicted women, write phony prescriptions for them in exchange for sexual favors. Prosecution witnesses said as much during Grandstaff's jury trial back in 2000.
Not only absolutely inappropriate for a physician to have a sexual relationship with a patient that he or she is actively treating, but it is even more inappropriate to be prescribing controlled drugs to that person. Seeing a patient in the hospital when they're on a psychiatric unit with a serious overdose, knowing everything that is written in the chart in terms of the patient's extensive addiction history, and then only 4 days after the patient was discharged from the hospital, after the overdose, writing a prescription for a Schedule II narcotic analgesic is reckless.
4 women would take the witness stand and testify against the well-known doctor. After an extensive trial, Grandstaff was found guilty on 79 different counts and given a 20-year sentence. Fast forward to the present day, after serving 2/3 of his sentence and receiving good time, he's due to be released from jail in June, something the last surviving victim in the case finds troubling.
Grandstaff and his former employer, the Tanana Valley Clinic, were sued by one of the victims back in 2004. The suit sought more than $2 million in damages at the time, holding TVC liable and saying administrators knew of Grandstaff's illegal behavior and failed to act accordingly. That lawsuit was dismissed in 2007.
Can't believe it was that long ago. I remember that well. Okay, when we come back, some Native groups say new rules in the Violence Against Women Act won't work here in Alaska.
And we'll have part 4 of our special reports on bringing natural gas to the interior on this Valentine's Day. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fairbanks Evening News is brought to you by Prospector Outfitters and by Kendall Auto of Fairbanks.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Some Native groups are saying Tuesday's reauthorization of the Federal Violence Against Women Act will deny their villages the ability to protect families from domestic violence. One provision gives tribes nationwide the power to prosecute non-Indians for domestic violence offenses that occur within the boundaries of their reservations. Only the Annette Islands Reserve in the southeast Alaska community of Metlakatla qualifies as a reservation under the act. The Association of Village Council Presidents, which represents 56 federally recognized tribes in western Alaska, says the Alaska tribes' effective exclusion from receiving that new power leaves them unable to stop violent and unacceptable behaviors.
If they want to choose respect, let them choose respect for the authority that the villages can have in dealing with this. Because the state of Alaska is not an answer to all the issues and problems that we have in villages.
Claiming it had, quote, met its objectives, end quote, in responding to the New Year's Eve grounding of the Shell oil drilling rig Kulloch near Kodiak Island, the Unified Command, formed after the incident, announced that it was standing down effective Wednesday afternoon. Agency representatives will return to their normal roles, according to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard will continue to monitor the activities involved in prepping the Kulloch for movement.
University of Alaska Fairbanks officials say a free firewood workshop set to take place on campus over the weekend will be open to the public. It will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday at Scheibel Auditorium. Topics will include wood stove maintenance, chainsaw safety, the properties of various woods, and where to get firewood. The workshop is being hosted by the UAF Cooperative Extension Service.
We conclude our multi-part series on natural gas tonight by taking a look at one more player in the gas trucking field, the introduction of a new gas utility, and pose the question exactly when and how will natural gas be brought to market. In fall of 2011, Golden Valley Electric Association and Flint Hills Resources announced they had formed a partnership to truck liquefied natural gas from the North Slope. The then $180 million price tag was to be split evenly. The effort was to allow both companies to take their operations off expensive diesel fuel by 2014. Now in 2013, only one of the two is still interested in trucking natural gas. Flint Hills, even though completing an engineering study on LNG trucking, bowed out 3 months ago, leaving GVEA on its own.
We've looked at this for a number of years, and we've said, well, hey, the best solution we come up with, the fastest one, and the least expensive, or at least capital intensive, is the trucking project. And that has some of its own issues, but trucking natural gas means we have to liquefy it up on the North Slope, truck it along the Dalton Highway, bring it here, regasify it, and then use it in our turbines, and then have it available for space heating. Fairly complicated.
The Alaska Industrial Development and Export Authority has received 16 proposals like GVEA's to deliver natural gas to market. Just this past week, Governor Parnell addressed the Fairbanks community and said those proposals need to be Alaskan-centric, not just Fairbanks-minded.
I'd like you to not only support this for interior Alaskans, but for all Alaskans. I want you to be able to describe not only how you think this will allow the economy of Fairbanks area to grow once energy costs are slashed, but also how this project will form the backbone and can leverage natural gas for smaller communities.
With the proposals in, the legislature must carry House Bill 74 and Senate Bill 23, which give ADA authorization to move forward with one of the proposals, which leads back to Fairbanks. Last fall, the borough successfully petitioned City of Fairbanks and City of North Pole to give power for the borough to create a natural gas utility. Interior Alaska Natural Gas Utility is up and running and is tasked to not only assist in bringing natural gas to the interior, but to manage infrastructure and eventual disbursement of an energy source that, to this day, is simply pumped back into the ground on the North Slope with no way to get to market.
All right.
All right. You've been off the news desk for a couple of days.
I have. I've been waking up very early with J.R. Lewis.
Right. And now, you know, you missed Joe Cook. He's right around the corner here. So he's actually,
the self-proclaimed love doctor.
Exactly. He's going to be here. He's waiting in the wings. He's got some previews of the big road contest coming up for the Nanooks. And as Hockey Week starts, which starts tomorrow. That and more with Joe after the break.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you this evening, and happy Valentine's Day. And here's something you love, some sports. Starting off the Nanooks on the road this weekend, the skiing teams will look to stay in contention for the CCSA title. After a good opening weekend, the women's team is 16 points back in second place, while the men are in fourth. They're in Colorine, Minnesota, gearing up for the race, for the long distance races in La Meridia, California. The UAF swimming team is in day 2 of the PCSC championships. Yesterday, the 800 freestyle relay team of Benty Heller, Gabby Summers, Margot Adams, and Danielle Lyons placed second. UAF took fourth in a 200 medley relay with freshman Aylin Audit. Heller, Lyons, and Adams, both relay squads, earned all conference for their top 8 finishes. The Nanook rifle team, 5th in the nation, faces number 12 Nevada today, right before this weekend's NCAA qualifying matches in El Paso, Texas. They've done their best against the best, including a season high 4-6-87 against number 3 Kentucky. The NCAA qualifiers will be announced in the coming weeks. And the Nanooks hockey team goes to Lake Superior State, the final CCHA Road Series for UAF. The Nanooks haven't won in the Sioux since 2009 and split the first meeting this season. The Nanooks have a balanced offensive attack as 7 players have 15 or more points. Cody Kunick and Andy Toronto lead the number 20 Nanooks with 20 points apiece. The 2013 Iron Dog race is just 2 days away, and the purse was announced yesterday. It's a whopping $210,500, 6 digits. Wow, I think I'm gonna try my hand next year. There are $126,000 in cash payouts and an almost $85,000 in contingency prizes this year. First place gets $50,000, second place $35,000, and third $18,000. The race starts on February 17th in Big Lake, Alaska. It ends right here in downtown Fairbanks on the 23rd. 39 teams will be participating in this year's race, with duo Mark McKenna and Dusty Vine Meter back to defend the 2012 title. And as you know, local 2-time Iron Dog champ Tyler Huntington is out this year due to injury. And after a month on the road, the Ice Dogs are back in Fairbanks. The Ice Dogs hope that playing in the Big Dipper can stop their 5-game losing skid. The Ice Dogs are trying to regain some chemistry in the wake of trades that sent Patrick Newell to the USHL and Ryan McNeely to Corpus Christi in recent weeks. Their last loss was a 3-2 shootout with rival Kenai in Soldotna. Fairbanks trails Kenai 5-3 in the ERA Cup. One thing that could happen is the coming out party for Lawrence Cornelier, the 48-point forward acquired from Odessa, who has played in 2 games for the Ice Dogs and is adjusting to Fairbanks and his new team nicely.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm on a winning team now and hopefully can go far in the playoffs. And it's a little cold up here right now, but the guys are great. They made a fun transition for me. These are hardworking guys. They work hard every day. They try to do 100%, and they really focus on the little things, the passes, the goals. They got to bury the puck, and I think I can help that, bury the puck on the team.
All 5 of those games, like, we've been in the games. We've just unfortunately been on the wrong side of the score sheet, and we have, like you said, a couple new faces in the lineup, so there's some locker room social dynamics that we're trying to work out, and we're confident that, we're going to get the ball rolling and have a positive weekend this weekend. So we're really looking forward to it, and we just got to work hard.
And starting tomorrow is going to be all about hockey for 10 days because it'll be Hockey Week in Fairbanks. Just a plethora of events going on in the interior. Friday is the unveiling of the ice sculpture in front of the Big Dipper and the Ice Dogs game, and where your jersey to school day. During the 10 days, there will be numerous events, a blood drive, a celebrity game featuring local military and law enforcement this Saturday. Also, the Rapid Shot Challenge at Play It Again Sports. For a Hockey Week schedule, just go to webcenter11.com, click on sports for all of the links. Trevor Stewart of the Ice Dogs, hey, he's continued to talk to us about Hockey Week and what it can do for his new guys.
It's going to be eye-opening just to see the camaraderie that this community has around the sport, and it'll be a neat experience. A lot of them are not from traditional hockey communities, so from California and Florida and stuff like that, so it'll be a good experience for them. Great week for hockey, great week for Fairbanks, great week for our players to see the love that the community has for the sport.
And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. You can find more Channel 11 Sports on Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and our mobile app. It's Valentine's Day, so the Love Doctor is advising you to stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to Fairbanks Evening News, everyone. Mike Schultz with you once again for a look at the weather, along with Dr. Love, or the Love Doctor, I should say. As you can see here, our photograph for tonight. This one's sent in by Ryan Van Dyke. A picture of Eagle Summit going down the hill there, and the clouds in the distance. A very, very cold drive. Again, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. What's going on at the airport right now? Very mild temperatures after a high of 25 today. The low last night, 8 below. The record high, 1941-44 that day. 50 below at 1950. Sunrise this morning at 8:52. Sunset 5:21, giving us 8 hours and 29 minutes of daylight, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite picture today. Boy, a good area of low pressure moving into the Prince William Sound area. Circulation bringing more moisture across the Anchorage Bull area than it is getting across the Alaska Range. We are looking at some snow possible working its way in probably tomorrow afternoon, the way it looks right now. What's going on across the rest of the state? The satellite and radar, as you zoom in, you can see a lot of snow moving across the Anchorage Bowl. Some patchy snow trying to move into the Fairbanks area. And as far as what's going on across the rest of the state, temperature-wise, you can see cool temperatures, not too bad. Ketchikan 42 degrees, a little cooler around Anchorage 34. Up and down the west coast, the snow they had a few days ago, gone. Now it's just partly cloudy skies. Pretty chilly around Barrow, and not too bad at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather tonight, things have cleared up over the Pacific Northwest and the western half of the nation, while there are still some rain showers moving across the eastern and southeastern sections. On the satellite and radar, you can see one system starting to work its way across the Central Plains, another system across the Pacific Northwest. Got to keep an eye on that. The overall jet stream, again, bringing everything from the west to the east, and then a big dive down to the south, pulling that cold air all the way down to places like Atlanta. They could see some snow showers this weekend. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow for the northern sections. We're looking at snow at Fort Yukon, cloudy skies in Barrow, and periods of snow at Nome. Here in the interior, we'll have cloudy skies with maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow for both Fairbanks and Healy. Over the southeastern sections, it's not snow, it's rain, heavy at times for Juneau and Ketchikan. And over to the southwest, not too bad, looking at partly cloudy skies at Cold Bay and Bethel, with mostly sunny skies in Kodiak. And lots of snow expected over south central sections, 2 to 5 inches at Anchorage, 1 to 3 at Homer, and 3 to 5 for Valdez. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather, and all this week we're talking with the kids from U Park Elementary School. Tonight, let's hear from the teacher with an interesting weather fact.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Roth, and this is my 3rd grade class here at U Park Elementary School. We have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know that the warmest temperature ever recorded in the world was at Death Valley, California? The thermometer rose to a sizzling 134 degrees.
And next week, we'll hear from the kids from the Watershed School. Okay, real quick look at our road conditions for tonight. I guess we're talking about those later on. There's our kids' weather again. Anyway, our forecast for tonight, we'll get past this electronically. And we are going to go to the forecast. Here you go. 3 degrees below zero, cloudy skies, occasional snow flurries into the morning hours. Tomorrow's forecast, 11 degrees, periods of snow with up to 3 inches here in the Fairbanks area. And the road conditions tonight, really not good anywhere you go across the interior sections. So keep that in mind. Roads are icy and there might even be some blowing and drifting snow on the Stetson Elliott Highway. Okay, here's your forecast for the 5-day period. As you can see, we're looking at temperatures cooling down quite a bit, and then a little bit of recovery. In fact, 10 degrees by next Tuesday, after overnight lows on the weekend, dropping down to near the low to mid-20s. Not quite as cold as we were expecting earlier. We are looking at maybe a chance of snow again Sunday night into Monday, and then again for Wednesday.
Not terrible.
And happy Valentine's to you guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
you.
And happy Valentine's Day to all of our viewers out there.
Yep. Absolutely. I hope everybody got what they wanted today. Yes.
Chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Flowers.
Candy.
Teddy bears.
Sure.
Isn't chocolate candy?
And a well-rounded newscast. That's true. Well, no. Yeah, kind of. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, our app. We're everywhere.
Yep.
And our love doctor is not here right now.
No.
He's out getting some more sports.
Love it.
That'll do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night. We'll see you back here at 11.